you son of a bitch. All right. Hello.
Howdy.
We're back. And we're going to do another episode where we talk about a movie that we just saw recently.
Mm-hmm.
What are we doing today, Paul?
We're going to talk about the Predator reboot, Prey.
Prequel, soft reboot.
Yeah.
Prey, yeah. And this is a movie that a lot of people have praised, and a lot of people have also just like totally been critical and like they haven't liked it. It's a movie that I think a lot of people either really like or maybe not like at all. I don't know.
Like the Snyderverse.
Yeah, it's one of those.
You either hate it or you love it.
Yeah. Okay, let's just start by talking just very briefly about what it's about. You want to give a short...
Yeah, so we can just start with there will be spoilers.
Yeah, there will be a lot. We're just going to jump probably straight into spoilers.
So if you don't want spoilers, you better tune out now. If you want to stick for spoilers, or if you have already seen the movie, stick around.
Yeah. So yeah, what's the movie about?
It's about this. Well,
when is it set?
It's set 300 years ago.
1700 something, wasn't it?
Yeah,
I think so. Yeah.
So it's long before Arnold, and I'm getting too old for this shit.
Danny Glover.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's a different time, and that was a pretty cool idea in my opinion. And I've heard that originally in Predator 1, Billy's ancestors were in the original script. They were supposedly like they were from a tribe that had fought a predator before.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if that ties into this or not, but like the idea and the concept is pretty cool.
Yeah. Yeah. So we're following a Comanche girl called
Nomi.
Comanche girl.
I think it was. We're messing this up already.
Oh damn!
God damn it! Yeah, and we'll get to that.
The name isn't spoken a lot, so no. It's
we don't hear too much.
No.
Anyway, it's about Comanche female lead.
Yeah.
And her tribe, and she wants to be a hunter.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not kind of totally accepted, but at the same time they kind of accept her as sure.
She's allowed to.
She's allowed to try it out,
but they still have this belief that she is good enough to hunt with them.
How very yes. How dare they?
Yeah, how dare they?
Okay, yeah, and then this predator comes along, and they kind of in the beginning mistake the predator for being the bear.
Yeah.
So they set out to kill a bear, and then
the
first, panther.
It's a panther or a mountain lion.
Mountain lion,
and
not a tiger.
Not a tiger. Yeah, so they are mistaking the predator for a panther. But it's later revealed that it's something bigger, and they start hunting a bear instead.
So yeah, basically that's the plot, very shortly summarized, and she has to take down this predator. And she's out to prove herself and do this like hunting ritual thing where you come back with something that you've hunted that makes you a true warrior and a hunter.
Yeah.
And she kind of, a bear and a lion wasn't good enough, so she wants to bring back the predator as her dead
As
animal
her
trophy
prey.
as her prey.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So, what did you think of our protagonist?
Protagonist, our female lead.
The prototype. Yeah.
Well, like Captain Marvel before her, she's really emotionless.
She's very stoic.
You can't really relate to her or even like her. And
So you didn't like the character that much?
I didn't like the character that much. No, like I didn't mind her either, but like
I agree. She's kind of there just to get this.
Yeah, she's just there to
get this
move the story forward.
Exactly.
And that's it.
I agree. She doesn't have much of a character arc or development. She doesn't change much from beginning to end, and she doesn't have a lot of expressions in any of the scenes.
Not at all.
One of the things I kind of struggled with also was that I didn't really worry about her all that much. No. She didn't seem too scared ever. Some of the scenes, there are some scenes that she is kind of, but like most of the time, she was very like, laid back about everything.
But she wasn't the.
Now we're gonna get into that.
Yeah, she wasn't the typical Mary Sue. She is a Mary Sue, but not the typical one. Like you see her
because
she trains and she has a goal. Like she wants to prove herself, and you see her train to
and I'm
move
so
forward.
Glad they had that, because a lot of movies will just give this female lead character. I mean, it's a trope. Male characters a lot of times have the same problems, but it's been kind of a thing now in recent years that you have like indestructible, super powered female characters that are good at everything. And we don't get a reason why. We don't see or hear about them being competent or about hear anything about their training. But here they establish very early that she practices with her axe, she trains, and she is also trying to develop that.
That's the only development.
That's the only development she has.
You see her work out to get her goal, but she doesn't seem to have any flaws at all.
And I'm also kind of like the mother asks her like, why do you want to be a hunter? And her only answer is
because you don't believe.
Because you all think that I can't.
Yeah.
I mean, I think everyone in my family, for example, would not believe that I could become a doctor. It doesn't mean I want to go and become a doctor. There's nobody in my tribe or family or among my friends that think I can become like, I don't know, a singer. That doesn't drive me to try to become a musician or whatever. Like, I wish we had gotten a little bit more of why she wants to hunt. Like, okay, she just loves the thrill of the hunt, or like she's been around her brother a lot and she wants to do what he does. She just a little bit more. That sentence was just taken totally out of 2020 and put in 1700, in my opinion.
Yeah. All right. So on the positive side, you see her work out. She trains hard to become this hunter or huntress. But then we're moving on to the Mary Sue thing. She ends up in a lot of fights. First with her tribe. The choreography is like, whenever they try to hit her, the punches never hits.
That's also another trope in modern times.
Yeah.
But like, you never see any. I mean, maybe it's a good thing. In some ways, it's a good thing that men don't get to hit women that much on screen. But like, if you have a fight and you want that to be believable, and your character is never getting hit, then they're never in proper danger. You're never going to worry about them.
And that's why we never feared for this girl.
She was better than all the men.
Yeah. And men that were physically stronger and in groups, but still she managed to
kick the shit out
of them until she couldn't, but whenever she couldn't, enter the Predator.
Yeah.
And he...
Oh, yeah, we're going to end up getting ahead of ourselves on that. But I just want to say some things that were good about the way they at least put in that she trained. That was good, but they also put in that she learns a lot of new things about her. She was good at learning things about her environment, about like situations. She was very observant. Like she was, okay, that didn't work. Huh. This was interesting information. And we get a lot of information like that is going to be important later. Hope you got like...
Yeah.
Got that part, because like this will be relevant later on. Although there was a lot of points like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, so first, it's her tribe. She gets in trouble. They never land any of the punches.
No,
and
she's better than the guys.
She's better than all of the guys. Then enter the French.
Mm-hmm. The nice French guys.
Nice French guys. And they capture her. And they try to land punches, but they never do. And once again, she escapes. Then you have the Predator.
Did he beat her up at all?
No, I don't think he...
Did he land anything? Maybe he hit something and she flew a couple of meters off.
But basically, she was always on top of the situation.
Yeah.
And
the Predator was the underdog in this movie.
Yeah, he was. And this girl, all on her own, with a little bit of help from her brother.
A little bit from her tribe as well.
Yeah.
Tiny bit.
But this girl manages to do what Arnold Schwarzenegger and Carl Weathers and their crew couldn't do.
They were seasoned, trained soldiers.
Yeah, Marines with
lots of weapons and a lot of experience. But yeah, so this is also like, but she has to be better than everyone else that has done this before. I'm just so tired of these tropes.
Yeah.
They don't make the characters or the movies better. And I'm all for female characters and female leads, but I want them done right.
Like Sarah Connor or Ellen Ripley.
Ellen Ripley and Sarah Connor. That's the...
Back in the days when female heroes were flawed, but...
believable.
Yeah.
And I mean, let me give you an example of another character. She does some exaggerated stuff as well. Atomic Blonde. The main character there, she beats up big guys. And I mean, of course, that's not all that realistic. But very early in the movie, they established that she's like an expert in hand-to-hand combat. And when she breaks into that apartment and there's these officers that come to try to take her down, she uses everything in her fighting. She uses the fire hose. She uses like frying pans. She uses her brains. She uses her brains because she knows, like, I should not go toe-to-toe with two big guys. I wouldn't want to do that. So, like, that's more believable. And this Naru, the main character, we should have written that down.
Yeah.
She's like just so much better than everyone else. She becomes a superhero in a universe where it's only her and the Predator that have super abilities.
That's right.
Yeah. What do you think?
Yeah, I totally agree. So, that's the main character.
Yeah, we should move on probably.
Move on.
What did you think of the Predator?
The Predator. Okay, I love the new design. This was one scary...
badass dude.
Yeah.
Or you can say mofo.
Yeah, thanks for censoring me.
You can say it. It's fine.
He was one bad motherfucker.
One ugly
son of a bitch.
Yeah. So his weapons and his tech was a bit different from what we've seen before, because again, this is set
300 years.
But that also kind of is a bit intriguing. Like, okay, it's 300 years before in Predator world.
Yeah, but you have AVP.
Yeah.
Where they are...
in ancient times. And then they're not that primitive.
No.
But I mean...
it could be a different tribe.
It could be a different tribe.
Yeah.
It was interesting. It was an interesting take on it.
Yeah, it was.
I like how you see the shoulder cannon thing is like... It reminds you of the one the Predator had in the first movie.
Yeah.
But it's not as developed yet. So it doesn't like... and that wouldn't like... If things were exploding...
Yeah.
That would have been a bit... I think it makes sense to tone down the Predator's tech as well to make it match
the time
and the technology of his opponents. If you had like a super powered, super geared up, advanced tech Predator, that would... I mean...
Maybe that was the explanation for the whole thing with his new helmet and his new tech, is that he... adapted for the
that might
situation.
Also be a possibility. But I mean, it would have been unfair to put that. It makes it more evened out. What do you think of what did you think of his cloaking thing? It looked a little bit different than the first one.
Yeah, but I think it looked
more
visually
reddish.
Better than the classic movies. But that has to do with today's special effects. So.
I really love the looks of the original Predator and the cloaking thing, but I really enjoyed this one as well. This was really cool, but it's very different.
It is.
So the Predator, he is mean and bad, and he is just there to totally annihilate and kill and hunt.
Well, this movie has some of the best Predator action I've ever seen.
I agree.
There's a lot of it, and you see him slay his way through the movie like
the French hunter, the French soldier war fight thing.
Yeah.
When he attacks them, that was really cool.
Yeah.
He just tears through the whole gang.
Yeah.
He used some cool things. His weapon,
the shield.
The shield was really cool, and the spear that could be split in two parts. Was it? Yeah, that was cool. And I like that he also used the net.
Yeah,
that was from I remember that from AVP.
Yeah,
and then we got to see that again. That was really, it just like cut this guy in pieces. Anything else you want to talk about the Predator?
Well, there's the Predator violence,
and gore. Yes.
Okay, this is
yeah. Okay, so
kind of a deal breaker.
I'm just confused.
It's an R-rated movie, and there's a lot of violence and gore, but for some reasons there are scenes where they just cuts off, and you don't get like
that didn't make sense at all. So there are scenes where you see somebody's about to get killed, and the camera moves off screen, like it happens off screen. The camera moves away, and then like somebody drops dead.
Yeah, there's a lot of R rating, but then all of a sudden there's like PG-13 scenes.
But why would you do that? Why I don't know. You should just go all in if you're going to do it.
Yeah. Hopefully, when they release the Blu-ray, we can have a unrated version where you get to see the rest of the violence.
Hopefully.
And X-rated.
That would be nice.
What else do we have?
The other characters, except for the Predator and the girl.
Yeah. Well,
do you remember any of their names?
Her brother.
What was his name? It was something with T.
Toto.
I think it was Tony. Tobey. Tomei.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
So the characters in this movie did not make all that much of an impression.
No.
Very forgettable.
Except from her brother.
Yeah.
He was the one with the most
he had way more personality than she did, and
character development.
And he kind of comes off as this douchebag sometimes. And
yeah, he loves his sister and he wants to give her the chance to prove herself, but he doesn't really believe in her. But he's there to, I don't know, keep the rest of the tribe off her back when they go hunting.
But these comments like, but you didn't, and you couldn't do it, and I had to carry you back.
Yeah.
It just is sort of like, bad man.
Yeah.
I'm just so tired of that. Because you could have had that, but then why did he allow her to come along in the first place if he didn't believe in her? But he becomes nicer throughout the movie.
Yeah, and in the end, he believes that she's the
one to take down the predator.
Yeah,
of course. He was good. He fights the predator as well, very head on, one. And this is something that nobody has had success with before. And this kind of makes he's a little bit of a superhero as well.
Yeah.
So he goes head on and fights him and beats up the predator pretty good until the predator's like, shit, I'm losing the fight.
Yeah.
Gotta fight dirty. So he goes into invisible mode.
Yeah.
Up until that point, he was doing pretty good.
Yeah, he was. And but in the end, he sacrifices himself for his sister.
That was a very good scene, right?
Yeah, but
it was very necessary.
It still felt like Jonathan Kent in Man of Steel. Like
it was exactly
there was no reason why he couldn't try or even be saved. Yeah. It was just to let her carry the rest of the movie
because she has to fight him alone at the end.
But
he died, so we would get a fight scene between her and the predator.
Yeah, but it felt like the Man of Steel scene with.
I hate that scene.
That's the only scene I hate in the Man of Steel movie.
Yeah. So
the rest of the characters are pretty forgettable.
Very forgettable.
Okay, you have the one French guy who
Raphael, the gun guy.
Yeah, Raphael.
So we get to see the gun that they show in the end of Predator 2.
Yeah.
But now, like in Predator 2, the Predators give it to Danny Glover. Here, the French guy gives it to her.
Yeah.
So we know that there's going to be more, hopefully in a sequel. But he was. It was cool, the scene with him getting the medication.
Yeah, the flowers.
Just before we move on to the flowers, I want to say there were a couple of other characters, and I don't mean this might come off wrong, but like when she runs into the grass and there's this archer guy, I thought that was her brother.
Yeah.
Not like it's kind of because we don't get the name of anyone, and we don't get a lot with any of the characters.
No.
So I thought that was his brother, and I'm like, the brother died. And there was another scene as well, where like, they killed the brother.
Again.
I had the same problem in Transformers, the first Michael Bay movie.
Yeah.
I thought Megatron was getting killed every time there was a grey robot getting killed. Anyway, I just have one more thing. The first guy that goes hunting with them to try to take down the mountain lion.
Yeah, the plot hole guy.
Yeah, the plot hole guy. He gets killed. And they come back. And they celebrate after the brother comes back.
Yeah.
And they celebrate that the brother killed the mountain lion. And I'm like, they're celebrating this, but the guy, the other friend, wasn't he important to the tribe? Nobody even mentioned his name. He's just totally forgotten, and he's just written out of the movie.
Yeah, but that I feel that's also a typical horror movie trope when characters die and they just need to keep the story moving, and they don't have time to mourn a character.
But if they're a tribe, that doesn't make completely sense. He wasn't he somebody's son?
Yeah.
Somebody's child, somebody's friend, maybe somebody's father.
Yeah.
But they could have said, I'm sorry, he didn't make it. And when the brother comes back with a mountain lion's head, I thought, that the predator killed the mountain lion, and the brother just found him.
Yeah, and took
credit for the kill. Yeah. Okay, so we were gonna go to the flower thing.
Yeah. Okay, so apparently they have these flowers that when you eat them,
it drops your body temperature.
Yeah. So that's
that neutralizes the predator's heat vision. That was a very cool thing. I was expecting the mud, actually.
Yeah.
And they didn't do that. They did the flower thing instead. They did kind of.
They did it, but it wasn't enough.
No. It was an interesting thing. I was curious, is this something that exists? Those flowers, is that something that is just made up for the movie, or does it exist some flowers that would drop your body temperature like that? Or maybe not like that, but to a degree? I was curious about that. Did you like that twist?
I liked it.
Me too.
And that made the thing with Raphael very funny.
That was very funny.
Because he gets the flower and
you think he might survive?
Yeah, and he lays down and plays dead.
And the brother doesn't see him.
Yeah, it actually looks like this guy is actually going to make it.
Yep.
But then the predator steps on his
torso or chest or stomach,
and he screams, and then
that was really cool.
Yeah,
that was kind of funny.
Yeah,
and back to the part where I said she observes a lot of situations and she kind of takes notes and adapts. She learns from these things. I really liked. So we don't get much of a personality, but we at least what they did.
We get to see how. Yeah.
We get to see that she's a very capable and observant person, and she's always observing her surroundings. She learns a lot throughout the movie, and that was cool. I liked that. So that was the flowers. It was cool to see that, and of course, when you see that happening to the Raphael guy, you know that it's going to come in. That's going to be useful later. So she uses that when she fights the predator to kind of be invisible to his heat vision.
Yeah.
Which makes me partially be a little bit more forgiving to the part where she beats the crap out of the predator, but still...
She kind of does what these old heroines does. She uses her brains.
Partly, but it's still a little bit too superhero-ish.
Yeah.
She's like jumping and bouncing around him and like pow, pow, pow. I wish we had gotten something that made it more difficult for her. With Arnold, you have the same thing. He's outsmarting the predator, but then he falls into the lake and he's suddenly visible again.
Yeah. Like he tries and he fails, he tries and he fails, but this girl, she tries and...
She never fails.
No.
Everything she tried worked. Yeah. Didn't mean to interrupt you there.
No.
You go on.
Alright, so, yeah.
One of the best characters except for her brother.
Yeah, the dog.
The dog!
Yeah.
The dog was really cool.
Yeah.
And I was like, please don't kill the dog. And they didn't.
No.
That was good. But I mean, also back to the plot armor thing. She has super plot armor.
If he killed the dog, she would go totally John Wick on him.
That's true. There would be a different movie with like ancestor of John Wick having to kill the predator. No, the dog. I'm glad they didn't kill the dog, but like the dog, I was thinking the dog is dead meat so many times with a bear.
Yeah.
And
when he used the helmet to target him, and
the brother comes.
Yeah. And this is also something that leads up to the final fights. One of the things she observes that we didn't observe the first time we saw it.
I didn't understand. No. Well, should we save the ending till we've done with the other ones?
We can. Yeah. So we'll come back to this moment.
Yes. What did you think about the visuals?
The visuals, okay. Visually, this was the best Predator movie.
I agree.
It's like Avatar. It's visually beautiful, but then there's But it lacks on other
aspects. Is there anything you would? There's no complaints on the visuals.
No, nothing at all.
You have a lot of good landscape shots, and the scene right before the Predator fights the French guys.
Yeah,
I wish, was that a storm? Was that a volcano? The mist and the gray stuff. I loved it, and it looked really cool. But I was like, what caused that type of weather?
Like there.
I was a bit
it seemed like a war zone or something. Trees were burnt down and ashes were...
Was that something they did? Was that something the Predator did?
I think that's something we never...
No, they didn't explain.
It's not explained. It's just to make the scene look cool.
Cool and like a war. It was a war zone,
so that's another plot hole. It's just there to make the battle between the Predator and the French guys.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, and I mean, just about the French guys, did we mention, like, they go really out of their way to show you that these guys are really bad. These are terrible people. They're evil.
They're white.
They're white. They're evil.
Men.
And they're men. Like all the worst things in modern days.
Yeah.
So they're dirty and nasty and filthy. And
then you have all this clean model... male model
the tribe
people,
they could have made those things a little bit more neutral or subtle, or it would be cool if the French actually had a plan with fighting the Predator and just not like trying to take him down with sheer force. It was kind of cool with the guns. That wasn't very successful. And we hadn't seen the shield before. I've never seen the shield.
No.
Has he used the shield in any of the other movies?
I don't think so.
Yeah.
If they had, if so, maybe an AVP.
Maybe. I can't remember. We have to see those.
Yeah.
Visuals really good, and I love the landscape shots. And everything else too.
Yeah.
Top notch. But just about this, I want to... Don't you feel it's a huge shame with such a competently made movie and such a good visual movie that it's not coming to the cinema? What do you think about that?
Yeah, that was kind of a waste because this visually it's
the best movie I've seen visually this year.
And then you have the last Predator movie, The Predator.
And that was in the movie.
That was in the theaters. And that has... It had the special effects from Sci-Fi Channel.
Yeah.
It had the budget of a Sci-Fi Channel movie.
And the comedy, man, that was so out of place. But
that's something also I like with this movie. Like, the last movie was a comedy disguised as a Predator movie, but this movie always took itself seriously. It was...
the tone was really cool. Tone was dark, and it took itself seriously. And it took the time to get you into the pace and the style and the atmosphere of the movie as well.
Yeah.
Okay. Just another thing. I got kind of... We talked about this a little bit earlier today. Some parts of this movie will remind you of the first Predator movie. It can't be avoided.
It's a soft reboot.
It is kind of a soft reboot.
It's a soft reboot, prequel.
Wouldn't you say Predators was also almost like a remake of the first movie? The one with Adrian Broner?
Adrian Brody.
Adrian Brody.
Yeah.
Adrian Broner is a boxer. Adrian Brody. That shared some similarities with the first one as well, because they were a group of soldiers.
Yeah.
Here you don't have that, where they're in the jungle or in the nature, in the wild.
True.
And the end fight. Now we're getting to the end fight. The end fight reminded me a little bit of the end fight in the first movie.
Yeah. All right. So this. Okay, how did she take this this Predator down? Well, this was basically her observing, and like we said, he was going to kill the dog, and he used his helmet to target the dog, and the arrows, they follow wherever the target goes.
Wherever that
the laser
points.
Yeah, wherever the laser points, the arrow follows. So it's like it's seeking seeking the lasers.
That's more advanced than in the original, because then it just shot.
Yeah,
that was it.
And so right before, and this is how she learns this, is that right before he's going to shoot the dog, her brother saves the dog by
smacking the predator in the back of the head.
Yeah, and you see his helmet falling off and target the tree instead of the dog, and the arrows follow the
tree instead of the dog.
And this is something we didn't notice the first time.
We didn't pick up on this.
No. So when we saw the final takedown, it was like, what the hell happened? No.
Yeah.
And we had to see it a couple of times, and we still didn't understand anything. But
what I'm still a little bit skeptical about is that the predator doesn't know this or notice this, because he's using his thingy. Doesn't he notice that he doesn't have his helmet on, or that the thing is pointing to the side of his head? Because
but that's one of the other things. She uses this gun to shoot him in the head.
That was what we were gonna. Yeah. So that helps. You have to kind of put in the dots yourself. He might be a little bit disoriented because she shoots him in the back of the head first with Raphael's gun. And you see his mask go off and he's bleeding. So, I mean, if you're shot in the head, you might not be thinking too clearly.
No.
So that helps me buy the scene a little bit more.
Yeah.
And she takes the time when she has prepared this trap, which is also another scene that earlier in the movie, this sets up the final scene where she falls into the swamp.
Yeah, the swamp
quicksand thing.
And okay, so she uses this quicksand where she was trapped herself earlier in the movie. Yeah. She uses this quicksand to set up the trap. And to set up the trap, she also
She jumps from the tree, doesn't
she? Jumps from a tree and knocks off the helmets.
She knocks off the helmet before, doesn't she?
Yeah, I don't remember.
Yeah, she knocks off the helmet.
Yeah.
I thought that happens when she shot him in the head.
Yeah, still, she knocks off the helmet.
And steals it.
And puts it in a strategic good place.
You would not steal a policeman's helmet.
Yeah. So that when the predator is trapped in the quicksand, the laser points to his head. So when the predator then pulls up the arrow, instead of hitting her, it hits him in the head, and
it hits the trees.
It goes like
and bounces perfectly around to hit him in the head.
Okay, so that didn't make
a bit of a stretch.
Yeah, but that was just to make it visually cool. It could have gone like instead.
Yeah, I would have liked it if it had just gone around and come back.
Yeah, but it pew pew pew.
Yeah. Well, fair enough. It made more sense once we kind of looked into it and saw that this comes in earlier.
And it helped a little bit.
It helps the final scene.
Yeah.
It's still a little bit rotete.
Yeah, messy. Yeah.
Convoluted, or like everything happens very fast and like, okay. But sure. And before this, she fights him with her weapons, with her axe. She chops him. And what did you think of that final fight? We've touched a bit on this already.
Okay, so she's kind of OP.
She is stronger in a hand-to-hand fight with the Predator than Arnold was. Or anyone else.
Arnold got his shit beaten out of him.
Yes. Arnold didn't stand a chance and was lying on the ground.
Yeah, he barely came out of it alive. But this girl, she is head-on badass, and she kicks his ass with...
There is one scene I did like. The Predator is trying to hit her. I think it's with the claw, and then she moves away, and he tries to get her, and he chops off his own arm.
Yeah, with the shield.
Yeah, and he looks like, damn it.
Yeah. Okay, so that gave her a little advantage then. But
shot in the head, chopped off his arm, but still, she should have been dead realistically like 121 times in this movie.
Yeah. But you can't kill off the main character.
No, and nobody can hit women on screen.
No.
And this does not cause any problems in cinematics or in movies at all. It's a good thing. So, moving on. Okay, so that was the final fight. Anything else you wanted to bring up in the fight or that we didn't mention?
No, I think...
Yeah. It's cool how all the things set up throughout the movie help the final scene make sense.
Yeah. All right. So,
what is your conclusion on this film? What did you think? What did you like it? Would you recommend it to our guests?
Overall, Prey is one of the better movies in the franchise.
Is it a masterpiece, in your opinion?
It's a solid movie. It's not a masterpiece.
I agree. This is a masterpiece.
Yeah, but heck, even the first movie is a B movie.
What do you mean? It's one of the best action movies of all time.
It's one of the best action, of course, but action movies from the 80s are basically B movies. Big budget B movies.
But within its own universe, the first Predator movie is the best. Still.
It's still the best. Maybe it's the nostalgia talking, or
But I've seen the Predator so many times, and even in recent years,
it's still one of the best science fiction action horror movies.
It's got
ever
everything.
made.
Yeah. I would not place this over the second one either. I love the second one. It becomes like a very different type of movie than the first one. This, we're not going to rank them all like that, but with the exception of the first two, this is the best Predator movie, I think, in my opinion.
And this is counting the AVP movies as well.
If we're counting the AVP movies, I have to... Okay. I will justify my answer.
Save that for another time.
No, but I'll just say it's a better movie than all the other ones.
Yeah.
But I still like AVP Requiem, AVP 2 better.
Yeah.
That's just a really fun movie.
But we'll come back to that.
We'll come back to this. Yeah, we're going to talk about all the Predator movies.
Yeah, not today.
Not today.
Another time. We're going back to rewatch, and then we'll rank.
We'll do the same as we did with the best Batman. So we'll talk about all the Predator movies. But
overall, it's a solid movie.
It's a solid movie, worth watching, and probably one of the better movies of this year.
And one of the better reboots, prequels to 80s franchises in a long time.
And a really good action horror movie. It's got a lot of cool action.
Yeah. So overall, I liked it.
Me too.
It has its issues.
It has its issues, and it might sound like we are very critical and that we didn't like it, but we both enjoyed the movie, and we were like, "Wah!" when there was all the violence and gore. We really appreciated that, both of us. Yeah, that's it. Should we? I think we're done. Thanks, guys. Thanks for watching, and Paul and I will come back to do more movie reviews and maybe even comic book reviews in the future, hopefully.
Rankings.
It's always fun to have you with me here.
Yeah, likewise. And if you guys have any topics you want us to
talk about,
comment below.
Yeah. Cheers, guys.
Cheers.
Cheerio, buddy boy.
Cheerio. Damn good. Oh, that's another franchise.
Yeah, we should talk about that as well.